Hey guys, Sean here, and today I want to share with you a story back from my. It's been about 2 years now. Back in my cubicle, 9 to 5, grinding it out as an employee days, and just funny how people just how people get so upset or focus on some just because the completely wrong things. They get so worked up when it's kind of trivial and doesn't really matter. About 2 years ago, it was during the time, and if you work for a company, usually there's a certain time of the year where valuations come out and raises, if there is any, promotions, that kind of thing come up, right? I always found that around that time there was a lot of tension in the office place. Where I had worked in my particular department, I think there was about 100 and something employees in that section there. So I always felt a lot more tension around that time, just because people were up for, I guess, raises, promotions, and what happens if they don't get promoted, don't get a raise, and someone else does, and there's a lot of sort of animosity in the workplace. There, I know when you go in, they kind of tell you. You go in for your evaluation, they're always like, "Oh, it was a tough year. We don't have a lot of raises, but here's something for your efforts." And but they're like, don't share this information with others in the department. Well, we all know how well that works. It doesn't take long for news to circulate around of how much people are getting for raises, and it kind of causes conflict, and so it's in the work environment. So in this particular year, I think it was about 2 years ago, I was sitting in. I was doing my work in my cubicle, and the woman that was next to me came back from her evaluation, and she didn't look thrilled with the amount, the amount of raise or the increase that she received. And so she was kind of grumbling, and she was kind of telling me how she thought she was worth more, and all this stuff. And then what really triggered was that she had mentioned another coworker that had gotten a better raise than her, and didn't feel like maybe she deserved it. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this. This happens all the time when we're in those types of environment. What it ended up working out to was, because supposedly times were tough, I think she ended up getting like a 2% raise, and this other person that she was kind of like, well, didn't think she deserved it, didn't feel like she actually put in all the extra stuff. To deserve that, I think got like a 4% raise. That's what it kind of worked out to. So what she was really worrying about was a 2% kind of hike over there. So I listened to her. I understand some of the frustration that people can go through when they feel like they're worth more. So I let her talk about that a couple of minutes. Then I told her, I go, you know what? Let me break this down for you guys, and that's what I'm going to break down for you guys today. This is what you're getting all riled up about. This is what you're getting all upset about. This is what you're complaining to other coworkers and friends and family when you get home. I'm sure she's telling her husband and all this stuff. But I go, this is what you're getting work out to. So what I did was I take out my calculator, right? And I think at the time they were making roughly around the same salaries. So let's just say, for argument's sake, they were making the same salary. And so the difference was she got a 2% raise, and this other person got like a 4% raise. So it's a difference of really 2%. So this is what I told her. I go, this is what you're getting worked up about, okay? So at the time, I think she was making about $40,000 a year. So I basically said, I took out my calculator. I said, here, look, you're making $40,000 a year. You're upset about this extra 2% times 0.02. Okay. So overall, that's an $800 difference over the course of an entire year, right? So if we were to break that down, this is what. So I said, this is what you're just trying to put it in perspective. I'm a numbers guy for some of this stuff, so I said $800 over the entire year. Let me divide that by 52 weeks. Okay, that's $15 a week. Okay, that you're getting all worked up about. Plus, don't forget the fact that you're getting taxed on that as well. So it's not even 15 real dollars there. And I think I live in Montreal and Quebec. I know we have a little bit higher tax bracket, but I believe she was falling in about the 40%, 35-40%. But let's say it's even 35%. So out of that $15.38, I don't know if you guys can see that on the calculator here, but you can do the math. It's not important what the numbers are. But let's say you take off another 35% on that. you basically are saying take off $5.38 off the 15. So basically take $5 off the 15, you're left with $10 a week. Now, here's where the thing is. I actually said to her, I go, well, she actually, and the roommate or the coworker that was right next to me that was all upset about this. I go, well, you do your 40 hours, but what I've noticed out of this person is they do extra little projects and they do put in probably an extra 10 to 15 hours a week that probably compensates for this thing. So I said, here's what's happening though. They're actually putting in all this extra time. So 10 hours, let's say it was even just 10 hours. I think it was a little bit more, but let's say it was 10 hours. That's an extra 40 hours a month that they're putting in so that they could actually get just an extra 2% raise for what you're getting. So that extra $10 that they're making in a week is breaking down to like they're making $1 an hour for that extra time, which is absolutely ludicrous. I don't care where you live, but minimum, it would be better off for her to go get a minimum wage job, which at the time, I don't know what it is, $7.50, $8 an hour, and do that if you want to do that, as opposed to put in all this extra time for an extra $1 an hour or whatever it worked out to. Absolutely ridiculous. So I kind of said, I go, this is what you're getting upset about. Instead, take that, take those hours that she's putting into this here, and why don't you do something for yourself? Put it into either your own online business. Maybe you have a hobby that you can turn into a business. Heck, even take some of the skills you're doing in this job over here, like if you're doing some administrative tasks or something like that, and go on either Elance or Odesk and do some freelance work for what you're doing there. That's going to pay you a hell of a lot more for doing this over here. So I think when I kind of broke the numbers down to her, she realized that it's not something to get upset about. Just take that time. That time is you're definitely worth more than $1 an hour. That's for sure. So why don't you take that time and even if you don't want to do anything, at least you spend more time with your family or whatever. But don't get all worked up about something like that when really it's just a trap and you're getting kind of locked in there. Just want to share that with you guys. Would love to hear your thoughts on this, and if you have any similar experiences where, especially around those raise promotion times, sometimes it's better off that you don't get a raise, because guess what happens? If you get a raise, you get a promotion, now you're expected to do more hours anyway, and the money starts getting less and less and less for what you actually put in to the actual business. Just want to share, love to hear your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.